A father who has lost his faith takes his son to a park every day, where hope has long since died down. Everything changes when a girl approaches them with a teddy bear and claims she can help the boy walk again. He doesn't believe her until he sees his son smile for the first time. But what starts as a miracle becomes a journey that will change them all forever. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you don't miss new stories. The morning in the city park began as usual. The wind swayed the treetops. The smell of wet bark mingled with the aroma of warm bread from the bakery across the street, and the asphalt paths rustled under the soles of the rare passers-by. Michael Turner sat on a bench, slightly leaning forward, with his elbows on his knees. His palms were clasped together, and his gaze was fixed on the stroller parked next to him. In the stroller is his son, Eli, 10 years old. Dark eyes, straight shoulders, fingers resting on the armrests, seemingly by accident, but too still. He hasn't spoken, not since the doctors declared his body no longer responsive. He hasn't smiled. Not since Michael tried for the 100th time to make him laugh, telling him something silly about an old bear and lemonade. "It's warm today," Michael said, almost in a whisper. "Maybe we should go to the pond. I saw a turtle there. A real one, big as a saucepan lid." Eli was silent. His eyes were open, looking into the distance, but not at his father, not at the trees, not at the sky. Michael exhaled. He clenched his hands again. He knew his son could hear. He just wasn't responding. At that moment, as if out of thin air, a girl appeared nearby. She was thin, wearing a shabby jacket 2 sizes too big, with the hood pulled down over her eyes and a stuffed bear clutched to her chest. Her shoes were worn-out boots with striped socks sticking out. She stopped by the stroller and looked straight at Eli. "He won't always sit," she said confidently. "I know how to help him." Michael turned around and stood up. The girl was short, about 8 or 9 years old, but there was no embarrassment or question in her voice. Only confidence. "Girl, where are your parents?" "They're at home. We have chickens, and a goat that scares everyone." "I see." Michael lowered his voice. "Look, this isn't a game. You can't just—" "I'm not playing," she interrupted. "I'm serious. He can get up. No one's shown him how." Eli looked at her, expressionless, but not looking away. "What is your name?" Michael asked. "Lily. And him?" "Eli." "It's a good name," she nodded. "We had a lamb with that name. He was stubborn, but kind." Michael gave a confused smile. "Lily, that's very sweet, but—" "I'm not being nice," she said. "I just know. If you come with me, I'll show you. Just not today. It's too humid." "Listen, Lily, thank you for your concern, but my son—" "I'm not talking about diagnoses," she interrupted again. "I'm talking about the fact that there is light in the legs. It can be awakened. I can't do everything, but I can do some things." He wanted to say, "Enough." He did. But at that moment, Eli, for the first time in weeks, smiled, just a little. The corners of his lips, as if he recognized something of himself in her. "See," said Lily, "he knows I'm not lying." And she was gone. She just turned and wandered down the path, jumping over every other tile as if she were playing with herself. Michael watched her for a long time. Then he looked at his son. He was still looking ahead, but no longer into the void, in the direction where the girl had disappeared. "She's weird, isn't she?" he said. "Do you think she can really do it?" Eli didn't answer, but his fingers tightened on the armrest a little. The next morning they returned to the same park, and Lily came again, in a different jacket, with the same teddy bear, and with 2 apples in her pocket. "Are you ready today?" she asked. "And if I say no?" Michael answered wearily. "So, tomorrow. But better, now, while the leaves haven't flown away yet." Michael looked at his son. He was looking at Lily. "Do you really think you know how to help him?" "Not me, but Grandma, She knows everything. And where is she? Across the river. On a farm. We have a cat there with different eyes, and tea made from branches that no one likes. Except me. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then he exhaled. If Eli wants to, we'll go. Lily nodded and smiled. Then take a blanket with you. The grass there is damp, but soft. And they went, along the path, around the bend, towards the river, where something began that no one could have predicted. Not the doctor, not the father, not even the boy, who had begun to feel the light in his fingers again. The road beyond the river was uneven. The asphalt ended almost immediately after the bridge, and beyond it began a dirt road, framed at the edges by thorny bushes and slanted fences. Michael pushed the stroller slowly, cautiously, trying to avoid the holes, and Lily walked ahead, like a guide, knowing every stone, every rustle in the branches. Be careful, she said over her shoulder. There's a root here. You can't see it, but it's there. Thank you, Michael nodded. And there will be a bridge further on. Only not a real one, made of planks. They creak, but they hold. I checked. Do you come here often? Every day. Almost. Sometimes twice. Grandma says that I am her eyes, and she is my ears. Together we hear everything. He didn't answer. He just looked at Eli, who was watching Lily with a less wary look than usual. The house stood a little way off the road. Old, wooden, with peeling paint and ivy climbing up the facade. The roof was intact, and the windows were covered with lace curtains. A stone path covered with moss led from the gate to the porch. Near the threshold sat a black and white cat with one blue eye and one green eye. He didn't move when they approached. That's Danny, Lily said. He scratches sometimes, but only if someone's lying. Michael chuckled. Then I hope we can get along. The girl knocked on the door. Grandma, we've arrived. There was a creak from inside, then footsteps, quiet but firm, and finally, a voice. Come in, children. The door is not locked. It smelled of herbs inside. Not a pharmacy, but a forest, dried mint, wormwood, lavender. The room was lit by a soft light coming from an oil lamp in the corner. There were shelves with jars on the walls, ceramic bowls on the windowsills. A woman was sitting in a chair by the window. Her gray hair was braided. Her eyes were closed. This is Grandma, Lily said quietly. Her name is Miss Willa. Good afternoon. Michael bowed his head. I'm Michael. And this is my son, Eli. I know, Willa said softly. Come closer. Let the boy stand on the carpet. He can't stand. I'm not talking about the legs, son. I'm talking about the heart. Let him stand as best he can. Michael wheeled the stroller. Eli looked at the woman, not scared, intently. Give me his hands, Willa asked. Michael carefully brought his son's hands forward and placed them in the woman's palms. She slowly covered them with her own. It has good warmth, not stale. This is important. The body is asleep, but not forgotten. It still remembers how to be strong. Excuse me, but you... Who are you? Are you a doctor? I'm old. That's more important. I'm not treating anything. I'm listening. She looked up. Whitish, cloudy, but as if looking through everything. Your boy has more than you see. He's not broken. He's just lost his way. But it's not his legs' fault. They're waiting to be called. Michael clenched his fingers. It sounds great, but we tried everything. Doctors, therapy, centers. Doctors are looking for a reason, and we will find the meaning. You're suggesting, what? A game, a whisper, a touch, a song. We won't make him walk. We'll remind him why he should. He looked at Eli. Eli was looking at Willa. I don't promise, she said. I'm just here. And if nothing works out, then at least you will give him back the light. On the porch, Lily took out a blanket and laid it out on the grass. It's soft here. He can lie down. We'll count clouds together. This is also training. Michael sat down next to him. not as a guest, but as a man who didn't know where else to go. He was silent while Lily told Eli about the time she saw a cloud shaped like a motorcycle, and another time she saw a cloud shaped like a giraffe, only a very short one. "You know," she said to Eli, "I had a feeling you used to run really fast, and then you decided to stop. Maybe you just changed your mind?" Eli didn't answer, but his lips twitched. Michael closed his eyes. Not from exhaustion, from hope. He was afraid of hope. That, more than anything. Inside the house, Willa was brewing herbs, and she was whispering, "Sometimes the path begins not with a step, but with the one who first called your name." Every morning began the same way. Michael would make a thermos of herbal tea, pack 2 apples and a blanket, fold a pillow for the stroller, and then wake Eli. Eli still didn't speak, but now, when he heard his father's footsteps, he would look up, alive and warm. Michael knew it wasn't just a look. It was an answer. They drove along the same road beyond the river. The dirt road became familiar, the route at the turn, almost native, and the wooden bridge, still creaking under the wheels, stopped frightening. Lily met them at the gate. She often had a basket in her hands, with stones, branches, some berries, which, as she said, cannot be eaten, but can be looked at. "Today Grandma said we'll do some rubbing," she said. "And he'll also try to stretch his fingers, but not like in the hospital. It's like he wants to catch the light." "Catch what?" "Well, light. Haven't you ever caught it? It's slippery but fun, especially in the morning, when it's through the curtain." Michael smiled. He no longer argued with her. Too much of it was beginning to resemble not madness, but pure, childish logic, which made more sense than all the reports of specialists. Willa greeted them, sitting down. She held a rag doll in her hands, and she moved her fingers over it as if she were reading it. She didn't ask questions, didn't check their temperatures, didn't ask them to sign any papers. She simply said, "Today is a long day. That means the body can remember more." Eli lay on a blanket under an apple tree. His hands moved, hesitantly, but of their own accord. Lily sat next to him, rubbing her palms together. "Do you want me to show you how birds move their fingers?" she asked. "They do it like this, and like this, see?" And he repeated, "Not everything, but sometimes, exactly, like an echo, or like music that you need to mature to." "He smiles," Lily whispered one day, looking at Michael, "almost always when he thinks no one is looking." "Are you sure?" "Uh-huh. One corner of his mouth twitches. It's a little secret laugh." Michael looked, and he saw. It was true. The day the first happened, Willa told Eli to sit in her room. The light from the window was streaky, the air thick with infusion. She sat across from him, touched his forehead. "Now listen. Quietly. Imagine that below, in the souls, there is not emptiness, but spring. There is grass, roots, stones, everything is waiting for your step, but do not rush. Just think what it is like to be in them." He didn't answer, but he sat so still that even the cat hid under the table. "Now imagine. You want to bend your finger. You don't have to do it. Just imagine. How it goes, how it stretches, how it obeys." A minute later, his finger trembled. Just a little bit. Like a fly passed over his skin, or someone touched him from the inside. Michael jumped up. "Did you see?" Lily nodded. "He himself, without help." Willa didn't move. "Don't rejoice loudly. The body is timid. It needs to be thanked, not forced." Michael squatted down next to his son, put his hand on his shoulder, didn't say a word. In the evening, when they were leaving, Lily lingered at the gate. "Tomorrow he will do more." "Why are you so sure?" "Because today he looked down for the first time, and before that, only up, and you have to go in front of you." Michael walked silently. The road back was the same, but inside him, everything was different. He remembered the time Eli had run along the beach, the way the laughter had cut through the air, How he hadn't been able to catch up. He'd been angry then, now he prayed he wouldn't catch up again, because the one who goes is already saved. Even if he does it for the first time, only in the mind, only in the finger, only in the whisper. The day began with rain. Thin, transparent, it barely touched the ground but seemed to dissipate in the air, leaving wet glare on the leaves. Michael stopped by the old bridge, inhaled. The damp smell of earth, damp wood and grass, watered by the night. He felt, today will be different. Lily was already waiting for them on the porch, wearing a red jacket with a hood thrown over her shoulders. The bear was pressed to her chest, her eyes were shining. He slept soundly today, she said. Grandma said that means he's inside himself now. He's not afraid. Michael pushed the stroller forward. What if all this is just a coincidence? Coincidences are when you lose something and find something completely different, but necessary. It means it was there. You just looked in the wrong place. He nodded. He didn't argue anymore. His weariness began to crumble, and in his heart there was something he was afraid to hope for. Willa met them at the window, her face turned toward the light, her slender fingers laced together on the arm of her chair. Today is the day of the shadow, so we go where it does not frighten. Only there can you see the step. She asked Michael to stay outside. Now you are noise, and he is a voice. He needs to hear himself. Michael remained on the veranda. Her voice could be heard through the open window. Now, Eli, imagine there's ground in front of you, soft as pie. You can stand on it, not fall in, not fall over, just stand. Silence. Lily is here. She won't let you lose your temper. She is your left hand. I am your right. There was a rustling sound in the room, then a light knock. Michael moved closer. He's got his legs up, Grandma, Lily's voice rang out. I've got him! He's on his knees! Stop, child. Let him find where to go next. Michael stood there holding his breath. Every second seemed like an eternity. And then, a step. One. Heavy, as if the ground beneath him had trembled. He rushed inside. Eli stood. No, not straight. His legs trembled slightly. His arms were stretched out in front of him, resting on Lily's shoulders. But he stood, alone. Son, Michael exhaled. Eli looked at him, and for the first time in months he said, Dad. The word was quiet, uneven, but complete. Michael fell to his knees, hugged him. His lips trembled, his hands clutched his son's back as if afraid to let go. He cried, for the first time, without anger, without fear, just because his heart couldn't take it anymore. Willa sat motionless, just smiling. He's back, she said, and that means you're not alone anymore. In the evening they were sitting in the garden. Eli was eating ice cream. Alone. Lily was hanging around, telling him how she once saw a frog that jumped right into a bucket of apples. Michael looked at them and couldn't believe that all this was real. You are a sorceress, he whispered to Willa. No, I just had enough time to learn to listen, and a child is the most honest sound, only adults muffle it. He looked at his son. He was smiling. And if again, don't think about later. Now is all you've been waiting for. Michael closed his eyes, his chest feeling warm. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time in a long time, he wanted to meet it, not as a fight, but as a continuation, where the first daddy had already sounded. Spring came not with a calendar, but with breath. The earth began to smell different, deeper, more tart. The air in the morning was fresh, but no longer prickly. On the farm across the river, the first yellow flowers were blooming, and Lily brought one every day, put it in a glass at the head of her grandmother's bed. Now Miss Willa could see again. After the operation, her vision had returned partially, but it was enough to read, to see Lily's face, to look at Eli. Your eyes have become lighter, she told him one day. Is it because of the sun? He asked. No, she replied. It's because you don't keep it inside you anymore. Michael watched from the porch. His hands were busy, putting up a sign. White letters on dark wood, Lily May Recovery Center. Below that, smaller letters. Where the first step begins. The building, once an empty warehouse, now smelled of fresh paint and wild flowers and herbs that Willa had brought in wicker baskets. The rooms were bright. On the walls were photographs, children, nature, footsteps in the sand. In the hallway was a board where each child in rehabilitation could leave a handprint. The first handprint was Eli's. Did you do all this? Lily asked, approaching Michael. We did it, together. But you didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to breathe again. But you taught me. Lily blushed and looked down. Then she looked up. Do you know that now he runs faster than me? I saw. I'm a little angry, but not much. They laughed. There was an opening that day. People from the city came, some reporters, doctors. Willa didn't want to speak, but at the last moment she came out. My name is Willa Carter. I am old, and I have always been afraid of big words. But today I will say one thing. If you do not believe that there is more on the inside of a person than on the outside, you are looking in the wrong place. This farm is not a miracle. It is simply a place where time was allowed to take its time. The applause was quiet, but sincere. After the ceremony, Michael took Eli to the garden. There were benches, children running along the path, someone playing with a ball, someone pushing a toy tractor. Dad, Eli said. Yes? I don't want to forget how it was. I don't want to either. Even the pain, even the silence, because without it, there wouldn't be what there is now. I understand. They sat next to each other, without words, just next to each other. Later, Lily came up to Willa. She stood in front of her and placed her hands on her knees. Grandma, do you see everything now? Almost. And me? I see how you've grown, and that means I see everything I need to. In the evening, when the people had gone away and the sun had set, leaving only the warm air and the smell of lilacs, three sat on the veranda. Willa with a book, Lily with her teddy bear, Eli with his legs stretched out in front of him. Michael stood at the gate. He looked at them and was silent. He no longer looked for what to fix. He just knew that everything was right. Because sometimes the journey begins with someone who didn't ask if they could come in, but just took you by the hand and led you.